Hello audience, it's Mahfuz Mishu. Welcome you to this very special show Opinion, and I have with me the ambassador of Germany here, Mr. Achim Truster. Mr. Achim Truster, most welcome to our show. How are you?
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm great. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, we have many questions for you, but firstly I would like to ask you, you have seen many things during your last 2.5 years in Bangladesh. So how do you evaluate present Bangladesh right now? Where Bangladesh stand, because being a member of diplomatic community, you are observing the situation, you have faced many things.
Yeah. Well, of course, we all have witnessed, and mainly those who have been here during the turbulent days, what our Chinese friends would call very interesting times. It's been a fantastic passage, and it was even more than 2.5 years. It's nearly 3.5 years now for me, and I've seen the country maturing, progressing on its development path, and also democratically, I think, progressing. And I'm optimistic that Bangladesh will also, with the interim government, progress on that part. And I think also the relations between Bangladesh and my country, the Federal Republic of Germany, have been widened and intensifying.
Yeah, I can. The history said after the independence in 1971, East Germany was the third country in the world who recognized us, and we were the first European country officially recognized Bangladesh in 1972. After 53 years of that journey, that independence, where our relations stand right now?
Well, I would characterize it as a mature friendship and matured partnership. Our partnership and also the friendship between our peoples is characterized by cooperation on manifold areas. First, to name the development cooperation, we are very happy to have been a partner in this very impressive development that Bangladesh has seen in the last, let me say, 20 years. That is not always the case with every partner we cooperate, and we are really proud to have been a bit helpful on this way. We are present since even longer than the state of Bangladesh exists. This regards mainly the cultural cooperation. Our cultural institute, the Goethe Institute in Dhanmondi, is here since also 63 years.
63 years?
Yeah, 63 years. And they have been there already when this was still called East Pakistan. So we think with our cultural relations, we are very deep-rooted between our peoples, and I think sitting in the heart of the city, and the Goethe Institute will return to its initial premises in the heart of Dhanmondi, I think hopefully in the beginning of the next year. Also the cultural relations and the exchange will take another upturn. I've been talking to a lot of your compatriots, and a lot of them know the cultural office of the Goethe Institute. They have followed language courses there, but they have taken part in cultural events. So I think this is a very prominent pillar of our relation. There's also a vibrant exchange. Artists are going to Germany. A bit more artists could come to Bangladesh, but we're working on it. And then what is perhaps the most well-known feature, our economic relations are excellent. Our trade volume is at around, with all the changes over the years, at around 10 billion. We have a large trade deficit with Bangladesh, but I think that's very good news for Bangladesh, and we are worldwide the second largest importer of Bangladeshi garment products. And I think this is also, and that's also good news, quite well known now. Now people know where their textiles and where their clothes come from, that it's from Bangladesh. So this is a sector which I see still on the rise, even though there are always challenges. In Europe, there are also economic challenges, and we are going here to some yeah, sometimes that pose some challenges, but this is one of the most prominent pillars of our cooperation, and I think that is a lot. And I think 53 years ago, nobody would have imagined, neither in Germany or perhaps also not in Bangladesh, how good and how deep-rooted our bilateral relations stand now. And I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, excellent. So what about the political relationship between two countries, Bangladesh and Germany?
I think politically we have been close on a number of matters. I would say we consider ourselves as also political friends, but of course we have different views on some issues, but that is very normal. I think that with the upcoming now of the interim government, this political basis has broadened even a bit. I think the areas of cooperation, for instance, we're both members of the Human Rights Council, and on things that are very important for us, like liberty of the press and democratic election. I think the basis of commonly shared values, apart just from economic interests, has broadened. I would wish the personal exchange and meetings between our leaders could be a bit more frequent. We are working on it, but sometimes there are really some obstacles nobody can surmount. No, I see us on a very good way.
Yeah. How do you see the July student movement in Bangladesh and evaluate last 2.5 months of the interim government led by Nobel laureate Professor Dr. Yunus? He is very good friend of German.
Yeah. Yeah, he has an amazing wide array of very close and friendly contacts with Germany. I didn't even know this in detail. I had the great honor and pleasure to meet him, and he explained a bit. Yeah. So this is amazing, and I would say we now have a very good friend at the helm of your government. Well, with regard to the student rising, this was mainly a fight against discrimination and a fight for participation of the youth. And well, I think everybody was surprised about the time when this came. But having been here at that time now for 3 years, I was always surprised how less the youth, which makes up for half of the population of the country, that means it's more than the population of my country, more than 80 million, could be, let me say, politically so neglected. I've been talking to so many well-educated, well-informed young people, and they were very much regretting that they felt that their democratic participation was not as well as and was not as accepted as they would have wished to. And I think it's important for the prosperity and welfare and survival of a country that also the voices of the younger, we're not talking about teenagers, of the younger generation has to be heard. So this didn't come as a surprise, and I think it is now a very good chance to give the youth also a chance to develop a life in the Bangladesh that they imagine, where they can freely participate, where basic rights are respected, where their voices are heard. I had the impression before, if I may say so, that also the political narratives and the public narratives were very much and very often oriented towards events that took place in a very remote past. And I was always wondering, how does this appeal to the youth? I think as a young person, I would have not been very much attracted to that. And so I can very much feel with the young people that they obviously had the same feeling. So I think this is a very healthy and positive development. But of course, I very much regret, as all of my compatriots, that the situation we have now has come at such a big human cost. Yeah. This is absolutely tragic, and I very much admire the courage and the braveness of those who stood up for their rights. I've been here we were all shocked about what has happened because this was this had let me say an amount of incident that really was unheard of. And it is very sad, but I think Bangladesh can build up on the sacrifices that a lot of students and also other normal people have done, because the event was triggered off by the students' ideas and protests. But I think it was so successful because a lot of, I would say, normal people joined in. I can testify of that. A lot of the people I talked to were not students, but they were very sympathetic with the ideas. I met nobody who was not with the students in these days.
So another part of my question is, how do you evaluate the interim government? It's more than 2 months and 10 or 8 days.
Yeah. Well, I think it would be very unfair. Well, first of all, I'm a foreign observer and I don't have to interfere. And I think according to our own European or German rules, we give everybody a grace period of 100 days. And these 100 days are not over. But as also my Chancellor, Mr. Scholz, has said, we have congratulated the Chief Advisor and his team. We are very supportive of the reform ideas that they have in mind, and if we can be helpful with that, we stand by Bangladesh.
Yeah, you met the Chief Advisor of Interim Government, Professor Yunus. So what is your initial remarks about him and how was the meeting, and what are your remarks about that?
Well, first of all, I must say, so it was a huge honor and a pleasure not only to meet the chief advisor, the head of the Bangladeshi government, but also a Nobel Prize laureate.
Yeah.
And my first impression was that of an overwhelming friendliness it was very cordial. He gave me an extremely cordial welcome, and we could talk about a lot of things that affect both our countries, and even in detail. And I think Bangladesh can congratulate itself in these difficult times to have somebody at the helm of its government that is internationally so widely reputed.
Yeah, Bangladesh is a big market for the foreign investors, and Bangladesh want more FDI, foreign direct investment. So how do you evaluate the investment situation here in Bangladesh? Not only this time, you also here during Awami League regime.
Yeah. Well, I think there is a little contrast between the needs that Bangladesh has for foreign investment and that what is really taking place. The opportunity for investment is of course there, but in the end it's upon the business leaders to decide where to invest, and I think they make it dependent mainly on their security and on questions of operationality, where they can transfer or retransfer their funds, how easy business is for them. And I can only speak on behalf of the German economy. There are very little direct investment. There's a lot of trade going on, and those business leaders and entrepreneurs I've met, they are very satisfied with the trade they have and with their business, even though they say it is sometimes challenging. But with regard to investments, I think they were lacking the necessary security. I was a bit, when I was 4 weeks back in Berlin and had a talk with a lot of business leaders who are doing business with Germany, I was a bit surprised by the big amount of uncertainty and lack of confidence in the current situation. And that's why I also told members of the interim government, starting with the Honorable Chief Advisor, that is extremely important that good news with regard to the stability and the security of the investments come from Bangladesh to Germany. There is much interest and very openness, but a lot of uncertainty for the time being. I think that would be something that I would address.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These uncertainties over now, or
No. Unfortunately, it's not over. I've seen that unfortunately some let me say distorted information about Bangladesh have taken a bit root. We are working in the embassy against this. But there is still a palpable feeling of insecurity now that I cannot completely share, but I am a civil servant, I do not invest and I don't risk my money. Yeah. So this is really an issue if it's well founded or not. We try in the embassy to enlighten our compatriots about the real situation and alleviate a bit their concerns. But I think the country itself and it's about the economy. Bangladesh needs a vibrant and thriving economy. Should very swiftly try to produce very good news, mainly with regard to security
and investment. Okay, Excellency, another question is about German visa. Many people want to go to Germany, and this trend is increasing in a large scale day by day. What's the reason behind it, and is German embassy in Dhaka is very restricted, or they don't allow to Bangladeshi people to go to Germany? Are you rejecting more visa? This is my question. I want to hear from it, but before that I have to take a break. Dear audience, we are going for a break. Coming back soon. Please stay with us. Welcome again, dear audience. We are talking with Mr. Achim Troster, His Excellency Ambassador of Germany in Dhaka. Excellency, I want to know about the German visa policy for Bangladeshi people. And this is the first part. And second part of my question, why so many people are interested to go to Germany? It's the students, the labor, the professionals. Basically, why it's increasing day by day?
Well, I think the significantly increasing interest in coming to Germany is because Germany is seen as an interesting place to work in. A lot of people are looking for a decent workplace. There's a rising and also significantly rising interest in go abroad to study in Germany. I think that is firstly due to the good quality that a German university education offers, but I think it's also a bit due to the fact that it's quite attractive to study in Germany. If you're a Bangladeshi, we don't ask for very high university fees. They are comparatively low. And I think it's seen as a very good way to get a quality professional training and afterwards to find a decent job. And with an economic situation that in the last years has especially for the younger generation not offered enough workplace. We all know the figures, how many young people enter into the labor market and don't find adequate working places. I think it's quite natural that young Bangladeshis try to make their fortune abroad. And apart from the student visa, I think the normal business visa and also some touristic visa have taken a recent upturn. That is also due to the fact that now after COVID and after the days in July and August, the business returns to normal. And as I've already said, the business relations between our countries are very, very close. And therefore, there's an interest in that. Unfortunately, you were asking me about the general principles. that guide the work of the visa section of the embassy. We're not very restrictive. Of course, you have to fulfill some conditions. You have to have enough money to pay for your stay in Germany. You have to provide us with a ticket, and the most important thing is a willingness to return. But if this willingness is given, which is the case in most of the applications, then the visa is given. The problem is only the visa section in the embassy has very limited personnel resources. Yeah. This problem is pending with Berlin since long, but I fear there is no immediate and perhaps also not a midterm solution, because we are worldwide lacking qualified visa staff. It's not about just some persons who look at one visa application. You need a capacitated visa officer that has undergone 3 years academic training and has received some further complementary training. So it takes a long time to have somebody who is capacitated to decide on a visa. And apart from the cost, every colleague who comes here and who works in the embassy who comes from Berlin costs the German taxpayer a lot. And we, as every country in the world, we have also limited financial resources. So I fear that say the duration of the procession will not, let me say, very significantly go down, even though there's a lot of willingness. I must say I go very often to the visa section. Colleagues are really working hard and under very challenging conditions, because very few people say thank you very much for the visa, but they all, and the number is higher, complain about long waiting times. I very much do regret this, mainly with regard to the student visa. Having been a student myself and being the father of a daughter who had just finished her studies, I can very well understand the frustration of the young people. I'm very sorry for that. But our system is structured in a way that the acceptance of Bangladeshi students by German university is not orchestrated with the capacities of the visa section. And the visa process, the process of issuing a visa for a Bangladeshi student, or for every student who is not a member of the or citizen of the European Union, is a bit cumbersome, because all the alien officers in Germany back have to be seized with that, and they are also a bit overloaded, because we have millions of refugees alone from Ukraine. In the last 2 years, we received 1 million refugees, and
1 million.
Yeah, it's more than 1 million, adding up to those who had come mainly after 2015. So, and they are distributed all over the country, and that means also in our alien offices in Germany, in the municipalities, the workload is not diminishing, and so this makes up, unfortunately, here for a young Bangladeshi student who is very happy to have received an acceptance by a German university, and is eager to go there and to learn something new and to finish his studies or to complement his studies. It's very frustrating to have to wait. I'm personally very sorry, sir. Be convinced that we do our best, but there is no immediate swift resolution to that.
Ambassador, what are the options or easiest option for immigrant visa in Germany, or any scheme you have?
Yeah, well, there are several for migrants.
For migrants.
Well, we have speeded up a bit the procedure for particularly qualified personnel, which is the so-called chance card. Those who fulfill some requirements with regard to their professional training, to their qualifications, they can go to Germany. They can apply for a visa to Germany, even without already having concluded a working contract. You can see all the details on the website of the embassy, and they can apply through the Auslandsportal. And there's another opportunity to those who have already working contracts with German enterprises. They can as well go to Germany. That is not a problem. The only cumbersome element is that it takes some time. So
Yeah.
it is not feasible in 2 or 3 weeks. It takes some months, unfortunately.
Yeah. So people have to be patient after the application. German company were partner in our e-passport process,
Yeah.
e-passport project. So how can you evaluate the digitalization process of Bangladesh? You know, it's a one step ahead um,
Yeah.
for Bangladesh in passport area.
I know that Bangladesh, since several years, is very ambitious on its way of digitalization, and I think it has made remarkable progress in several areas. And thank you very much for mentioning the excellent cooperation between Veridos and the government. I think they're issuing more than 20,000 passports a day. I know that there are also long queues of people who want one, but I think it's even 24,000 a day. I think that's going well, and Veridos is making offers also to support to support Bangladesh with electronic visa that would be very easy to adapt to the existing software systems and also to the hardware. But we are also supporting Bangladesh, and we offer to do more in areas, for instance, like authentication of documents. There is a recently established joint venture between Germany and Bangladesh, which is called Relief Validation, and they are cooperating with Bangladeshi universities in electronic authentication of documents, which helps to speed up the process of acceptance and validation of documents very much. So I think Germany can be an even more important partner on the way that Bangladesh has taken into digitalization.
Yeah, you are a big partner in our power and energy sector, especially the big engines, big machines are coming from Germany. Will you continue your investment in LNG sector and other energy and power sector?
Honestly, we are not such a big partner in LNG. We see that the future is more in renewable energies, and we would like to support Bangladesh much more on that way to green transitions and to have a mix of renewable energies. As far as I know, there is only one gas plant that is co-financed by a German development bank. That is a gas plant. And we try to support Bangladesh also on the way of using the existing gas plants, for instance, with biogas. We see that there's a huge potential for Bangladesh to make use of the biogas and to become less dependent from important LNG gas. I think that is more or less the focus of our interventions and of our support here in that sector.
Yeah, excellent. Now again, it's time for a break, Germany is very much vocal everywhere in the world about the democracy, human rights, good governance, and some other issues. But sometimes it seems you were very much silent in Bangladesh during the last regime. It was why it was, or did you get any interest for it from the political government? That is my question. So I will come back with this question. Dear audience, please stay with us. We'll come back soon. We are talking with German Ambassador, His Excellency Akim Kroster. Welcome back again. And Ambassador, why sometimes Germany were silent here in Bangladesh regarding democracy, election, good governance, human rights, and the core issues of German government?
I would not agree to your statement that Germany has been silent. If you address me personally, I have not been here in the country from the end of July in 23 to the end of the year for medical reasons. But then when it came to the election, I think we have made our points very clear to the government and to the members of the civil society. You have absolutely rightly stated that for our German foreign policy, the respect for human rights, liberty of the press and democracy are indispensable and main pillars. But the question is always, how do you carry out your diplomacy? If you do it through a loudspeaker, then you can do it, but then you have the danger that you anger a lot of people and that they give up talking to you. And I think we have succeeded. Well, we have not done, I would agree with your statement on that, loudspeaker diplomacy on that. I've personally, and I know that my deputy has done this as well, tackled these issues in a lot of bilateral meetings, individual meetings, even during receptions with members of the previous government. Well, you all know the bit of success we had with that. I fear that those who were much more outspoken for the public had unfortunately, I would have wished for it, but had unfortunately not more success than we did. With this respect for free and fair, with respect for free and fair elections and respect for basic human rights and also rule of law, the previous government, I think, was a much tougher partner for the European Union, including Germany, as the current government is. But I think we maintain to hold open the channels of communications to all sides. In the end, it's every diplomatic representations and foreign ministries tasked to decide on how to proceed. And in the end, we see what has been more effective. Unfortunately, until the 5th of August, a lot of our efforts and talks were not very successful.
Yeah. Excellency, can you please enlighten us about the defense cooperation between Germany and Bangladesh, and do you have any plan to expand this kind of cooperation?
The business, you're talking about business cooperation?
I'm talking about defense cooperation.
Defense cooperation.
Yeah.
Well, I know that there is a vested interest, at least expressed by the former government, to more closely cooperate with German companies in the field of armament. I'm not sure how much this has matured so far, because it's always depending on the availability of financial resources. I've heard that, well, this was valid for the previous government, but I think, I assume that is also valid for the current government, that the financial priorities for the time being are elsewhere. We had been said that the wishes of the military to look for some armor or look for more support cooperation with the German industry were a bit obstructed. But we, for instance, are very proud to have provided Bangladeshi with trainer planes by the German enterprise GROW, and German companies have also provided the Bangladeshi Navy with inspection planes who can survey the Bay of Bengal. And as far as I hear, the Bangladeshi army is very happy with them.
Yeah. Do you have any plan to work in our deep sea, especially in oil and gas exploration? And you know there is open tender by Petrobangla.
Honestly, I've not heard anything about German interest in that sector. I think we are more interested in cooperating in the area of renewable energies and improving energy efficiency, less in the traditional ones.
Yeah, Germany is the second largest export market for Bangladesh. How it could be better, or what's your evaluation about the Bangladeshi government product? What's the psychology and evaluation of German people?
Yeah. I think there has been a change in the last years among our population. People do now know that a lot of their cloth come from Bangladesh, and they associate it with a good quality of the product. And since I'm here, I've been talking with a lot of businessmen from the garment industry. I think we all agreed that a corporate identity of Bangladesh, starting with the garment sector, was really necessary. And I've seen that a lot of products now are marked as made in Bangladesh. And I think this has also and already contributed to making it known. Concretely answering to your question, if we would be importer number one and replace the US, I don't see that for the time being, honestly. And I think if the garment industry especially would like to deepen and widen their trade relations with Germany, it is very important that they also diversify their product offer. I've heard by experts, and also the German Development Corporation is counseling and advising the BGMEA on it. It is still the case that the bulk of the production is in the low-cost area. But the margin of profits for Bangladesh is much bigger in higher value products. So also a diversification within the garment products, I think, is necessary. Germany supports Bangladesh, the Bangladesh garment industry, actively on the way. But I think that should be done. And a general diversification of products of the economy, not only or mainly relying on the garment industry, I think is indispensable for government. And I'm only repeating what experts say, but I think it's obvious.
How do you evaluate GIZ is a trusted partner for Bangladesh in clean energy and environment-friendly energy? So, do you have any plan to invest in this sector more and expand more cooperation regarding clean and green energy?
Well, absolutely. First of all, thank you very much for positively mentioning the GIZ. You know, perhaps that German cooperation is much more. It also comprises KfW or Bank for Development. So we are acting as a whole, and we also have an institute that is supporting Bangladesh with geophysical research. That is also part of the cooperation. Yes, of course, we are mainly focusing on intensifying our cooperation in energy efficiency and transition to green energy. That is one of the main pillars of our cooperation. And I'm very hopeful that we can now finalize and sign a climate and development partnership together with Bangladesh. This has been negotiated over the past years. That was an offer. And from our perspective, this is a privileged offer because we reach out only to a handful of countries. And Bangladesh is one of them. And in my first contacts with the interim government, I received some very positive signals that we can hopefully sign very much. And this would also benefit financially very much. The transition to green energy, to more energy efficiency, and to more cleanliness. Yes, we very much intend to intensify our cooperation in that field.
Yeah, we are at the very end of the conversation. My last question would be, climate change is a vital issue for Bangladesh. You have seen floods in Kumilla region, in the northern part, in the Mayumsing part. So how you can be beside us to combat the climate issues?
I think it's not only a question of how we can be, what we already are. You know perhaps that Germany, together with the United Arab Emirates, has been the first country to give 100 million euro or US dollars to the Loss and Damage Fund. And we are a very active partner of the Vulnerable 20.
In the last COP.
Yeah, and in the last COP, and we are a very active partner together with our partners in the G7 and together with the vulnerable 20, where Bangladesh has already assumed twice the presidency, we have together established something that is called a global shield, and that helps also financially countries like Bangladesh that are primarily much more exposed to extreme weather-related incidents to cope with this. So I think it's not a question of how can we, but how do we, and we are very active. And a visible sign of our commitment mainly to Bangladesh was the fact that the first visit that our first Secretary of State for Climate Action, for Forest Climate Action, that's a new post that has been established with the current German government, her first trip led Mrs. Morgan, that's her name, led her to Bangladesh, and we carried out some very interesting visits, leading us even to the Sundarbans, where the German corporation is also active in maintaining the diversity. I think that's a visible sign of our commitment to Bangladesh in that area.
Can you please answer me in one sentence, like what do you want to see Bangladesh after 2 years or 3 years?
With the successful democratic transition, a less antagonistic political landscape, and a government that is working for the good of the people.
Thank you. Thank you, Ambassador of Ambassador. Thank you for your valuable time.
Thank you
dear
very
audience, we have to say bye. Thank you for staying with us, and please stay with Jamuna Television. Thank you for being with us.